Okay, I had some folks curious about how I do my shows and such, and the various inductions I use. I thought what I'd do is stick some of my things up on screen, some of my videos up on screen, and discuss them as I go to let you see what I've done over the years. I've been doing hypnosis since about 2000. That's when I really started getting into it. I started doing therapy and such way back 2002, 3, somewhere in there. And I didn't do shows until 2014, and my very first show is not good, but it's right here. At that time, I called myself superunconscious.com instead of zapmymind.com. And I just had 30 people in the audience, and these five in the front, there's I think five right now, yeah, are going to be the first people I've ever hypnotized in a show at Bar Isn't, which just closed here in Kobe. Unfortunately, because of the COVID, they didn't get enough business and they closed. So I finally ended up with six people on stage, and the environment is not ideal. I still had music running in the background that wasn't mine, and we couldn't get it shut off. And I'm running them through what's called a concentration test, where you put your hands in front of you. I'll put my hands out here. Put your hands in front of you and interlink the hands and put out two fingers, just the first finger of each hand. And when you do that, there's an automatic physical pressure trying to push your fingers together. Try that. Make your hands as tight as you can. Make sure they're all nice and tight. Then pull out two fingers and see if you don't feel a pressure already pushing your fingers together. So I tell the people to hold their fingers about a quarter of an inch or 1 centimeter apart, and then just feel as their mind wants to push their fingers together, as their mind wants to push their fingers together. And that's what I'm encouraging them to do. Allow themselves to let those fingers close because their mind wants to close it. In a way, this is a cheat. Most people are going to feel the pressure. Some people are going to resist the pressure, and those are the ones that I know are not really cooperating with me. So it isn't so much a hypnotic technique as a filter for those people I know are not cooperating well. So anyway, the big hairy guy all the way on the right, I'm just now standing by, he's responding quite well at this point. But it's interesting because he later ends up kind of refusing to believe that he was ever hypnotized. And that's probably because I didn't do a good job of explaining the hypnosis at the beginning. That you will still hear and see and feel. You'll just feel a compulsion to do what I ask you to do. And so you may know what's going on in the room at the same time as you think you're a famous movie star or something. There may be this dual thing going on in your brain. I didn't explain it well. I mean, come on, this was my first show that I've ever done, and so it didn't work out that well. Let's skip a little. This is a pretty long show, actually, about an hour. So let's see if I can get my controls here. There it is. Skip forward a little. I took a flashing light. It's on the end of this little wand, and it's not very bright. I have actually moved to a much brighter light. And this is just something for them to fixate their gaze on. Fix your eyes on while I tell them to relax their body and run them through a progressive relaxation. So feel the muscles in your body all getting relaxed from the top of your head down to the toes. And you feel the energy and the relaxation flowing downwards. That's the progressive relaxation induction. And there's the flashing light turned on. Here we go. Follow the light, follow the light. And again, I probably spent far too long on this. I spent like 6-7 minutes getting their eyes closed, and I probably shouldn't have. Then I go to each person, and I'm just touching them on the head or the shoulder and just relaxing them, telling them to sleep forward. Just allow themselves to sleep forward, and they do. Now, this is a perfectly good technique for therapy as well. You can have them lock their eyes on something, describe a progressive relaxation, and then just tell them drop down, sleep now, relax, sleep, allow your head to drop forward, and just sleep and listen to my voice. for instructions. And that's a perfectly fine thing to do in therapy or on stage. This is one technique that works fine either place. There are many stage inductions you probably don't want to do in therapy, such as the arm pull induction and such, because they're just not necessary. They're too startling. It's much better to keep that nice, relaxed feel in therapy. So I pretty much never do those. All right, so I've pretty much got them all. If you notice, out of 6 people, all 6 are eyes closed in a hypnotic state. I made another mistake. If you look, you see at least one lady with legs crossed down there. And arms crossed, legs crossed is usually a no-no, because if they sit that way a long time, it can make their legs or arms go to sleep. You know, get that pins and needles feeling, and that can be enough to wake them up out of trance. So having her legs crossed is something I probably should have asked them not to do. So you're learning from my mistakes, okay? And then I continue to relax and talk them down further and further. See the guy all the way I'm touching now? He was deep in trance to the point where he was going to fall out of his chair. I went back over and I made suggestions, which I learned from a friend of mine, to simply say that you can completely relax all the way down, but you're stuck to the chair. You're stuck to the chair. You can't fall out of the chair. The chair and you will stay stable and stay upright right there, just as you are, even though you relax all the way down deep. So by making it the chair responsible for them to stay up, they won't fall down. By making it that they have to stay stuck to the chair, they concentrate on their posture and staying up there. Because actually falling on the floor would mean they'd lose the chair, right? So I'm telling them they can't do that. Now this guy in the hair, he kind of woke up for a second. I tried to put him back down into a trance. Again, he's kind of sort of in trance. The guy all the way on the left and one of the ladies, the dark-skinned lady, she is awesomely into trance as well. Unfortunately, for some reason, she feels uncomfortable later and leaves the trance, as you'll see. So I end up with only 5 on stage. But that's fine. Out of 20 people on stage, a typical stage hypnotist will lose 4 or 5 at the very beginning. And then they'll continue doing more and more things that are challenging and lose more people. And they'll be lucky if they finish the show with 5 out of 20. I've been more patient with my inductions, maybe. I'm not really sure why. But generally, if I start out with 20, I'll end up with 15 at the end. So I have to actually literally take people off stage who are cooperating with me very well. I have no idea why I have such a high percentage of people following me, except that I spend a lot of time on building rapport. I spend a lot of time explaining very detailed pre-talk, what's going to happen, where you should be in your mind when you're in hypnosis. I explain it to the entire audience before we even start. So it's probably, at least partially, that the people who won't comply with that or don't comply with that or can't comply with that don't even volunteer and come up. With this show, I had wanted 6 people up front, but I've only got 30 people. And that's a pretty high percentage. I've got 20% of the audience up on stage. Typically, you're going to consider much lower percentage than that. Out of 1,000 people, consider 20. And it's hard to handle more than 20 people on stage. I've had as many as 40, but I selected the good ones and took off half of them quickly so I could deal with, again, just about 20 that I could monitor. All right, so let's take a look at the next one. So it was a pretty good show, I guess. I got them into hypnosis. I had them experiencing things in the hypnosis, but I never actually had them get up. I didn't have enough confidence to have them get up and do something. So they pretty much sat in their seats the whole time, just waving their arms and doing whatever. We discussed hypnosis. It wasn't a great show. It was a confidence builder for me, and it was necessary in that respect. I had to get up on stage and go through a whole process and not let it go the whole hour to build my confidence that I could do a show, actually. Let's take a look at some other things I've done. This is my actual demo. If you go on my website, this is the first demo that pops up, or go on YouTube for that matter. This is my current one. And hang on a sec, I've got this text on top of it. Let's stick it up on top if I can. All right. That's not the right text. All right, let me move this. There we go. All right. So I've got this demo going on. It's got lots of clips from different shows. I'll back it up because I want to pause it a couple places. This is at a park in Sannomiya, Japan here, Kobe, Sannomiya, Japan. And this young man on the left is actually a medical doctor, although he looks awfully young. He's in his 20s. He's a qualified medical doctor. He was one of my English students, actually, improving his English so he could study additionally from Western sources. And he turned out to be a marvelous subject for hypnosis. I told him he was the rabbit in that skit. Let me back it up a little. I told him he was this rabbit, this little stuffed rabbit I carry around sometimes. And then as I moved the rabbit a little bit, he would move the rabbit, he would move along with it. So turn the rabbit to the left, he turned to the left. Tip the rabbit, he tipped. Lean forward, he leaned forward. So he got, in his hypnosis, he got the idea that whichever way the rabbit moved, he would move. So now the rabbit's dancing. So that was my clip. This young man is at a high school, and I was playing Beyonce, and so he is Beyonce. I simply told him he is Beyonce, sing her song, because I asked him, what songs do you know? Do you know some? Oh, okay, so, and at the beginning this one kid said, I love Beyonce. Great, okay. And that's what I did. He's up there on stage strutting his stuff as Beyonce. This one here, I'm going to briefly get back to. What am I doing here? Got them all on stage. I've already done a good pre-talk. I've already explained everything there with them. But this young man had a very strong reaction to the earlier tests and such. For example, when I had him put their hands together, his arms locked completely. He couldn't get his hands apart. I knew he would be a good hypnotic subject from that. And so I ask him up, and I shake his hand. And I'll try and repeat pretty much with the motion on the video exactly what I said. You can't hear it on the video, unfortunately, but let me see if I can remember it exactly. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm JT. Look at your hand. Look at your hand. Look at your hand. Turn around. Oop. Oh, I clipped that off somehow. Oh no. Maybe we'll do that one again later. That's inductions. There you go. Oh, there you go. Now go down and sleep. So pretty much, hi, I'm JT. Nice to meet you. Look at your hand, look at your hand, look at your head. Now turn around down here and sleep. And in 4 or 5 seconds, he's on the ground. These guys, I told them they're airplanes. And they're flying through the air. And those are their wings. I didn't say put your arms out. I said spread your wings, spread your wings. And one person spread their arms. And all the others got the idea. Now they're all airplanes. And I'm giving them things like, oh, there's something in front of you, bank to your left. There's something in front of you, bank to your right. And the guy in the blue shirt who I did the handshake induction on, straight in front there, kind of on the right side of the video, he's going the wrong way. Everybody else is going the same way. He's going the wrong way. Another high school. It's kind of fun. High schools and university people are very, very susceptible, very willing to go into a deep trance for you, and you have great shows. This is again that park in Sannomiya. Slightly different. I just had them lock their arms tight, and then lock their eyes on the hands. Don't look at me, don't look at me, look at your hands. Lock your arms, look at your hands, look at your hands. Keep looking at your hands, lock your hands tighter, lock your hands tighter, lock your hands tighter. Close your eyes, sleep. And then when they close their eyes and everything just relaxes and they just pretty much almost fall down. Another instant induction. He was just after the blue guy. The blue guy had already gone down and I put him back in his seat. Then this guy, the ship is moving. This is actually on a cruise ship. It's rocking back and forth. You can see the curtains move in the background a little bit. So I'm matching the motion of the ship with my hand. And as he starts to match my hand wobbling back and forth, I move in and put him down into a trance. And sleep all the way down, down, down. Just let it go, all the way relaxed. And this one I'm going to talk about in a minute. This is a different, I've actually got another video coming up, much more current event. One of the crowds I performed for, oops, that was a seminar shot in the middle. There we go. There's a crowd I performed for. There's a seminar shot I did from the side. Same nice little cruise show I did before. Some shots of where I live here in Japan. I just mixed this thing up for a demo. What I've done in the past in various places. And that's the demo. So let's get rid of the demo. Goodbye. Here we go. And the next thing I'll probably want to talk about is one of the more recent shows I did just before the COVID season shut us down. So the difference between Isn't and this show here is about 200 shows. And it's a world of different because it's again a fairly small show. I only had maybe 60 or 70 people. This was for the U.S. Navy out in Sasebo, Japan, and I just pretty much did a little thing where I had them move their hands together if they felt like if they felt the pressure moving their hands together, and again, half the audience in this case moved their hands together. So I had a really good responsive audience. I asked for volunteers from those people who put their hands together. Right? Oh no, this one. I thought it was hands together. I'm lying. All right, so let me tell you what I did. So one hand is this way, one hand is this way. And generally you should do it actually so that the strong hand is this way. The weak hand is this way. Strong hand palm down, weak hand palm up. There's a reason for that. The strong hand, you imagine, have them close their eyes and imagine there's a balloon tied around their wrist. Just allow the hand to hang limp and loose and relaxed, but held by the balloon. The balloon is holding that hand. And the other hand, you have them imagine there's books in it. And as you keep explaining and keep explaining, you add another balloon, you add more books, and you'll see people's hands do this. And so, yeah, some people's hands will end up, one guy's got his hand straight up, and the other guy's got his hand, the other hand is on his lap, because so much weight and so much lift from the balloons. That's a pretty good subject. And you get other people who go this much, and you get other people who do nothing. In this, you can see the guy all the way on the right. His hands are widely separated. You see that? The young man, he's wearing a gold crown. I forgot about those. Yeah, this is New Year's, so he got a crown for some reason. And so the young man wearing a gold crown, his hands are widely separated. See that? Whereas the guy at the other side, his hands are completely side by side. There's no change whatsoever. He might even be fighting it because you can see the balloon hand is below the book hand. So clearly he's not really wanting to or willing to. The lady all the way in the back, I have to mention, she was a lovely lady, and she wanted to see if she could be hypnotized so that she could stop smoking with hypnosis. And as you can see, her hands are not separated. She did ask me, can I come up on stage anyway? And I said, sure. And then after the show, she wasn't that good, so I let her go. But after the show, she was saying, but that means I can't get hypnotized to stop smoking. Absolutely not. That means you were not willing to be hypnotized right here, right now in this situation. Therapy is much different, guys. So never test somebody and say that you fail if you're going to do therapy. No, don't do it. Because it's not true. Okay, let's take a look at this. Let's skip through some. So what did I do? I got them up on stage. I didn't do any group induction for this one. Notice they're all sitting there completely wide awake, wide aware. I just said stare straight ahead, look at a light. Pick a light out there, and there's little lights in this room. It's an auditorium. I said pick one little light and just look at it. Just sit there and look at the light, and don't look at anything else, and just listen to what I'm saying and look at the light. That's the only induction I gave to the whole group. And then I'm walking back and forth, and like this lady here, I'm talking to her, this nice dark-skinned lady, and she was lovely. I mean, she was a really nice lady as well, and she's also a really good subject. Afterwards, after the event, I actually stayed for their buffet that they had, and I spent a lot of time talking to some of the people that I just hypnotized. So it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this event. I hope I get to go again sometime soon. And if you watch, I'm just walking up there and I just look at her. How you feeling? You feeling fine? You feeling relaxed? I'm feeling very good. Happy tonight? I said, okay, well, just look at that light out there. Look at that light out there. And when I tell you, just sleep. Just sleep all the way down. That's right. Good job. And that's it. The guy next to her, the one in the glasses, he was telling me I was a skeptic. I didn't believe in hypnosis at all. And as you can see, I'm talking to him for a minute, but I don't take him into hypnosis. Do you believe in hypnosis? No, but you're making me be a believer. That's what he said. You're making me be a believer. Good. Well, you just sit there and watch and see what happens, okay? Okay. And just keep looking at the light. And I just went one person at a time, back and forth across the stage. Bang, 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 bang. Everybody pretty much went into hypnosis. Bam. Okay, I'll skip over that so you guys don't have to. If you really want to watch this, the whole video is up on YouTube. You can watch me take them down one by one into hypnosis as they're all crunched there on stage. Pretty much everybody went into hypnosis for me. And that's not unusual at all. I've gotten good at it. Had one person, I think, kind of wake up and move out. I forgot. But pretty much everybody went into hypnosis at first, and then after that, as you do more and more challenging things, people will come up and out. So I'm interviewing them later about what kind of animal are you, and then I tell them you're all drug addicts, and I let them experience a drug. I think that's where they're at now. That's why they're laughing and such. I put them up and down into hypnosis. Again, you have to lock them up so they don't fall out of the chairs. Some hypnotists let people fall out of chairs. It's not my favorite thing to do. I don't want someone to get hurt. Thank you. Got them up there dancing. Okay, what else did I do? I'd forgotten. Oh yeah, and then the final 5 people, I've got them on the floor in front. There's an area in the floor in front. I have them actually out there dancing. Yeah, it wasn't my biggest event, but it was a lot of fun. That was my most recent one. I really can't wait to get back into doing performing. I've missed it this year. Once you get a taste for it, it can be awesomely interesting. I will be, so you guys who are watching this know, I will be doing a training session later on. I'm developing it after I finish the therapy one. I will be developing one for going into stage hypnosis, and it's going to cover everything you need to know, including some of the harder things like how the hell do I, find contacts to get a hold of in the entertainment industry, which can be a nightmare. I'll tell you what I did. I'll tell you how it worked for me, and maybe you can do some version of that for you. Okay? Anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed this ramble as I just looked at some of my older videos and told you what I was doing. And I know you guys that are going through the therapy are this isn't really applicable to you right now, but you may find yourself in the same situation as me in the future, where I moved to a different country. It was difficult to get clients. How do I get more clients from here? I can give Facebook all of my money if I want to spend all of my money on advertising, but then a good chunk of that goes to Facebook, which is ridiculous. Whereas if I did shows, people always came to me after the show and asked for therapy. When I did seminars, people always came to me after the seminar and asked for therapy. It goes along with it. So if you're in that boat, if you need that situation, then you'll want to take the hypnosis therapy. Sorry, after taking the hypnosis therapy, you want to go into the stage hypnosis one and see if you can't get stage hypnosis going, at least in your own area. It's one hell of a way to get clients, okay?